Hi everyone, welcome into my channel. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Sarah, and part of my channel, I like to share what I call quantum storylines, and that derive from my dream space. And on this channel as well, like to cover other topics such as financial astrology, spiritual topics, super abilities. Yeah, spirituality, and I like to create storylines. And today I didn't create a story, but I've been holding on to something that I've been wanting to share for about a year now. I've been holding on to um, um, this transmission that I received in the quantum field, in the quantum realm, in the dream space, where again I pick up information and that I believe um, applies to the collective. And so I'm very honored to share what I'm about to share. And I've been holding on to this for about a year now. And it's something that I felt like I almost had to be careful about sharing because I wanted to make sure it was um, spiritually for the highest and greatest good of all life. And so I've held off for a long time because I wanted to make sure that there's um, that space for me to have that kind of like permission to share about this quantum experience that I had. And so thank you so much for being here. And to start off, this for me was an incredible experience, and I feel like I say that every time when I share about the quantum space experience that I have in my dream time. And it's not always all rainbows and butterflies, I'll tell you that right now. But this was a very a special guide came through, and I believe again that this is for others out there in the collective field. So let's just kind of like dive into um, what guide came to me during my dream space, during, my soul's traveling during my dream space. Um, this this interaction that took place is very layered, and there's a lot to unpack because when you're interacting in the dream space, what's happening goes above and beyond and through our normal senses of perception. So that's why sometimes I do have to take my time with information that I receive in my dream space because it's like a encoded message that's super layered, and you want to make sure you can get through each layer because it's pushing you beyond your bounds of perception. And what I mean by perception, I mean it's going beyond the bounds of sight, of of feel, and it goes into territories like you can perceive emotion, you can perceive intention, you can perceive kind of like the telepathic communication, like whole set of um, a whole set of like communication could be given to you in one quick like split image. If you receive a split image of something in your dream, you can get an entire full story of what's happening and what's going on and messages are trying to be relayed to you. And so in this particular experience I've had to sit with this for a really long time, almost a year. And so um, during during the time that I received this guide, I believe it's a guide, came to me. I was going through a lot of uncertainty. I was going through a difficult time, not knowing, how things were going to line up in my life, in terms of just everything, career, housing situation. A close friend of mine was going through a really hard time, and we were kind of like supporting each other and helping each other. And it was just kind of like a time where there was just a lot of uncertainty and a lot of not knowing and a lot of overcoming and perseverance. And so I believe maybe that's why this guide came to me in my dream. And so it is such an honor for me now to have the chance to talk about this guide, because I believe this guide was not only meant for me to help me get through what I'm going through, what I've had to persevere through over the last year now, but it's for the collective. So um, again, it's a huge honor, and I only want to do the right thing by this guide. So um, now, this guide that came to me in my dream was a Sasquatch being. I feel like saying Sasquatch. I don't really think that's what they call themselves. I don't really feel like saying it was Bigfoot. That doesn't really feel resonant to me. But it was, I guess, in our human way of knowing who they are and what they are. We use the word Sasquatch, Sasquatch, Squatch, yeah. And so it was a Sasquatch being that came to me in my dream, and um, yeah, and so it was amazing because keep in mind that when I receive my dreams, it's layered with sense of perception. Okay, so the image that I received in my dream, or how he presented himself to me, was he showed his lower part of his feet, and that's all I could see. And so I got the perception that it was a very giant being, but it was a Sasquatch. And it was huge. Like, the presence it left was just a huge presence. It was a huge presence, maybe signifying the amount of, of power, of ability, of influence. More, when I say power, I mean influence over our dimensional realms and things like that. So it was a huge being, but I was only able to see its lower part of its feet. And the other thing that it allowed me to see is that it had a long hanging trunk, a nose, and akin and similar to that of an elephant trunk. But I knew it was not an elephant because this being that appeared to me had the fur like a Sasquatch being that we kind of know and see today, like on the media and things like that. So it had a long, truncated nose, and it was just a huge being, and it also felt juvenile to me. It didn't feel very old. It felt like a young, juvenile Sasquatch with a long nose hanging down all the way to its feet. And yeah, and it felt very young. And it felt very, it felt like more innocent. And that's why I believe it was a juvenile, guide, a juvenile friend, a juvenile guide coming in, for us, for the collective. And I got the sense that these were beings that were once deeply connected to human life. And this could have been in ancient times. This could have been a more, like less ancient times, but like not more recent. You know what I mean? Like, not like super recent, but not necessarily ancient. But I feel like somewhere in the quantum field, in the quantum time space continuum, time wave, they were once deeply connected to the humans. They were deeply connected to the humans. They were helpers and guides and aides, and partook in the life of human life. So I was picking up on that. I was also picking up, though, that this being, this guide, that his people or his group, they had to separate themselves from helping humans, from helping humanity. And I was picking up on that. It was a very sad process. I was picking up on that it's not something that they were wanting to do. It was never something that their hearts never wanted to do, but they knew they had to do it for whatever reason. I wasn't given that information, but for some reason, they had to completely separate themselves and um, put up the veil, so to speak, so we could not have access to them. And I feel like it was a travesty. It felt like a sad thing to have happened for them and for the humans, especially for the humans that appreciated their wisdom, appreciated their guidance, appreciated their help, appreciated their participation. So I don't know if like the humans at one point started to turn against these types of beings. Um, these beings were multidimensional. They were able to go interdimensionally. And like, I don't know if at some point there was just a bad group of people that started targeting them and harming them and hurting them, which makes me think that's one of the reasons why that they had to separate themselves from helping and guiding and supporting humanity and participating in human affairs. And so um, I'm speaking all from the dream transmission. Okay, this is how my life goes. I receive these images and these transmissions in the quantum field space, in the dream field space, and but I believe it's for anyone who's watching this. It's meant for you. It's meant for to be shared. It's meant for the collective, and so yeah. So going back, it's like there was once a very beautiful time where they were uh, participants in human affairs and helping and guiding. They very much felt like helpers and guides. Like they had just extreme wisdom and knowledge to them. Like they were just extremely like ancient and wise beings, but also loved life, like very juvenile, very also wanted to see the joys and the pleasures of life come to life and be supported. So I feel like this was a very a hard aspect to the human connection that they had, because there was a separation. And so this being that came to me felt very juvenile, very young. And I felt like I was picking up on the messaging that he was the outlier now. Like he wanted to be the first one to help bring back the connection with with humans, with the humankind. And it felt like it had been a very, very, very long time for that. I felt like a lot in terms of the quantum space time of reality, that a lot of space time had passed, and that, but this one in particular, he seemed like he was doing a very courageous thing, that he was breaking a lot of rules to help reestablish a connection. And that's what I was picking up on when the Sasquatch came to me in my dream. I felt like he was very young and very juvenile and had the spirit and had the heart to kind of break some of the rules and to establish a reconnection, to help and guide and aid and aid the humans and the individuals that are of good heart and good mind. And that's what I was really picking up on. So he was kind of like the outlier, or the one willing to kind of break the rules a little bit to reestablish and to help and guide. So that felt very I felt very like I was very amazed by that sensation that I was picking up on and receiving. And so, um, what I believe that I was also picking up on is that this being, the Sasquatch being, um, was revealing to me his super ability and why they are able to access kind of like higher perception. They're able to kind of be psychic in terms of knowing the path forward or the destiny forward, for the highest and greatest good of an individual or a group. So part of this transmission, again, this was just as part of my goal, I guess, right now, is to talk about the dream space, to share the transmissions that I've been receiving, but to also um, explain about the levels of perception that takes place in the dream space. You may be only given an image that lasts for 2 seconds in your mind's eye, but it's packed with perception. It's packed with emotion. It's packed with intention, with feeling, with thought process, with information, with data. It's super packed. So just want to like kind of reiterate that for anyone watching. So going back to the Sasquatch, who he was revealing to me what his abilities were or how he would like to help and guide. Probably me at the time, but also individuals, and reestablish human connection. And so this Sasquatch, he with his elongated trunk, they had a super ability of scent. Now, there is a movie out there. I forgot the name of the movie. I don't know it off the top of my head, but I will put it in the description. Where this, it was about like they had like this movie had like characters in it that had super abilities, essentially, and one of the guys in the movie was able to arrive to, let's say, they were trying to track someone down, and the person that they were trying to track down, they showed up to his apartment, and the guy was able to smell through the apartment, and then he was able to receive images of exactly what the guy was doing in his apartment. So, for example, he like smelt there was a cup on the table, and the guy picked it up, and he kind of like smelt around the cup, and then he was able to know exactly when he last touched the cup, what was in it, what he was doing when he drank it. And then the guy went to the door, and he like smelt the door, and then he was able to know when he last left and what conversations he was having. He was able to have a whole psychic vision of what happened. And so that's essentially one of the key elements of the Sasquatch ability is they can, with their scent, they can smell and perceive through all the veils and have full perception. They can, so think of it like this. So, like, if you or I were walking through a fog and we were quote unquote like normal humans that weren't conscious or aware, and we didn't know about super abilities and things like that. We're just like normal people, like just kind of like, yeah, not having a super conscious awareness and things like that. And you and I, we walk through this fog. Our perception goes to the point of we are now walking through a fog. We might not feel the fog. We can't feel it hit our skin as we pass through it. All we can perceive in our mind is that I am now walking through a fog, and I hope that I get to the other side. With their super ability and how they can help and aid and guide is that as for to stick to the example of walking through the fog, their scent allows them, so in comparison, right, is we're walking through the fog, and comparing it to their ability, what they can do is they can have full super perception as they're walking through their fog. They're not just knowing they're walking through a fog. They're picking up. It's a field of information for them. So as they're using their scent, they're picking up on the data, the information. It's like a field of information for them. They can pick up on intention. They can pick up on emotion. They can pick up on the auric field. They can pick up on the auric field of individuals. And that was another like very impressive thing to me, is that they can see a person in front of them, and they can get the full auric field interpretation of an individual. They can know their intentions, they can know their emotions, they can know them at their soul level, they can know their soul song, they can know the they can know the characteristics of their soul. They can kind of perceive through all of that. And yeah, so that was just incredible. And so I was picking that up because I think that this is a guide now that's very, like I said, the amount of influence they have in our dimensional realm is far greater than we can actually imagine. So I think by this one juvenile Sasquatch coming through and coming in, has the ability to touch many of us and to help many of us. And how they're doing that exactly is they're almost guiding us to stay on our path of destiny, to overcome challenges, to kind of like know when to be cautious and wary, because their ability is they have a super scent ability, and they can perceive through the etheric primordial field that surrounds all of us in each and every one of our lives. And they can sense the true intention, true emotion, true thought process, true the character of everyone's soul, and they can be a guide and a helper. And so that was kind of like a very amazing and very touching experience that I have. And over the last year, I keep thinking about it, and I'm like, I keep thinking about the ability of the Sasquatch that came to me and was like, basically, this is who I am, this is what I can do, and this is how I want to help you. But as I was thinking about, because in order for me to interpret my dream, I have to also have the similar ability to perceive through the messaging, right? So in order for me to properly understand and know and receive either telepathically, or I have to have access to what he was trying to show me. I have to have had an experiential experience of knowing what it felt like inside of me to perceive how he could perceive life. So I had to, in my dream, it was almost like, hey, I'm going to give you this ability, and you're going to see how I perceive through life. So that was the gift. It was like the gift of psychic perception. You can, as you walk through life, as we walk through the unknown, as we walk through the quote unquote fog or the density, we walk through the fog and the density, we can remember that we can pick up the super data, the information, the true intention, the true emotion. You can kind of psychically read people's auric fields and things like that, and to help us on our path of destiny, to help us, like I said, to maybe be careful with something, or to like keep going on your path. And that whole super like ability that this Sasquatch holds, like it's part of them. That's why I know and believe that they hold true ancient wisdom and knowledge and keys to helping and aiding us humans, because they can perceive through the quantum field, the quantum realms, through galaxies and through universes, and they can like, I feel like they have access to the all. They have access to the all, and it's just a part of them. And I think that's why they were once so. And this is just off of, I don't know a lot of like Bigfoot or Sasquatch like folklore, or like I know like the Native Americans. There is storylines within the Native Americans where they were, like had deep, and I believe maybe some of them still do have deep connections to the Sasquatch. and maybe only like a few are able to access them or still honor them and kind of like give thanks to them. But for some reason, like I said, like I don't have a lot of knowledge on them. Um, I don't like watch a lot of videos on them. I don't do any of that. I'm not like one of those like people like trying to find more information on them. It was just a being that came to me in my dream space, and it was kind of revealing to me like it has a very great influence. It can impact and influence our lives in a very positive way. It felt very positive, very loving, very supportive, and that this young juvenile was kind of like breaking some of the rules to kind of like reestablish contact and connection um, to individuals out there, and they have a very far superb and supreme ability, and their influence is great, and it goes beyond our dimensional space and realm, and they can traverse multiple universes and galaxies and kind of pick up on the ancient wisdom and knowledge and be guides, and they can help us perceive with our super senses and beyond. And so yeah, I wanted to share that here. And if you know anyone that's had an experience like I have had, or know of stories where like that can confirm their super abilities and how they want to gift us and help us with utilizing their super abilities as well, for the greater and higher good of all life in your life. Like if you know anybody, or if you've had experience with that, or if you've also had dreams of Sasquatch come to you, like I would be super curious to know. Yeah, and so the really cool thing about this is that as we continue to push our minds and hearts past the normalcy of our lives, and the normalcy of common levels of perception, as we start to think about quantum realities and interdimensional spaces, multidimensional spaces, and how we do have guides and helpers that want to come in and want to establish, most likely, a lot of them want to reestablish connection. And then there are also new helpers and new guides that want to come in, and as we grow, we have new guides that want to come in. But as you start to think this way in your life, they leave a piece of them with you. And that's how I truly feel about this guide that came in, this Sasquatch being, this juvenile being that came in. I really feel like they will gift you a piece of them, and then you have their ability, as so long as like, I don't know. I don't think about this every day, this being, but I often now do. It's like a part of me now. It's like a part of my family. That's how it feels like. And I feel like they were once a part of our family. We were a part of their family. And I feel like they want to reestablish that type of connection, that like we are family. And that's how I truly felt like he was, like now in my heart and in my spirit, like I have a family member. And that's how I truly felt, someone that can really, really have my best interest at heart and help be a guide on my path. And so I just invite you into this space, as well as if you are starting to have dreams, or have dreams and kind of like are trying to wonder like, oh my God, is this real? Or like, just know that you can step into this space safely and process your dream and see what your perception is of your dream. Like, what are you feeling? What is the intention? What is like, you can pick up on the communication without needing a lot. And that's the incredible thing about the dream space, is that our higher selves, our angels, God, our guides, they don't need to give you a lot. They just need to give you a color, an element, a quick image. And it could be, and these are usually super encoded and super layered with healing frequencies, with the new thought mind frame that you need, or the new, it can clear emotional stagnancy, or if you're blocked or you're stuck, they can literally give you the keys, the encoded keys, through a simple message or a simple image in your dream. But they're giving you the keys to unbind any of these blockages that we have for ultimate healing, for ultimate healing and transmutation, and so we can all thrive and feel freer and lighter and more liberated. So that's the kind of like the experience that I'm having, and with this being coming in, I feel like I now have a new family member. And so I think we're starting to be invited into that space. So I welcome you into this space. And yeah, and if you can relate, or if you have something similar you want to share, you can email me. My email is on my main YouTube page. And if not, you can leave a message in the comment box. Yeah, but I hope everyone takes care. Much love and peace to you all. God bless. Bye bye.